Oh, are we live now? Okay. Welcome. There's the camera. Welcome. Before we get started, I want to talk about user manuals. Not enough people, I think, utilize these, peruse them, much less read them, before hopping on the internet and asking questions. So let me just say, stop watching YouTube videos. I know that sounds counterproductive, but stop watching YouTube videos as your first result or first recourse to a question. Definitely don't use TikTok. Even Reddit is pretty low on the list, I would say. I think YouTube would be your first place after this. And I'm not even getting into ChatGPT or using any kind of AI assistant. I'm probably in the predicament I'm in right now, slightly because of that. But, I mean, if you look at this one, this is a motherboard user guide from ASUS. And ASUS has their problems. But they even call it a DIY guide. And there's a reason for that. It breaks down in really good detail every single header on a motherboard. RAM slot configuration, which order to put your RAM sticks in for a first-time builder, knowing which slots to put 2 sticks in if you're running dual channel, or 1 stick if you're doing some testing. All of that's in here. And just a detailed description of what each thing is. So where you want to plug in your CPU fan versus using an AIO pump. All of that is in here. For your motherboard too. And they're all going to be a little bit different. So first stop, folks. First stop. Who's here? Winter Lori McGrates. Enjoying yourself some reading material. Yes. Thank you for hopping on. Yes, we are about to do a motherboard swap. I have the ASUS TUF Gaming X570 Plus Wi-Fi. It appears to have gone bad. I had a previous live stream where I did some testing and found out that the 3.3 volt rail is undervolting for whatever reason. And I don't know exactly all that it powers. What is very clear is that it will not power the M.2 slots consistently or effectively to allow it to boot from an M.2. But it's not affecting the SATA ports. So I booted from a SATA drive to my computer just fine. I loaded my regular OS onto one of these, booted just fine. And I did that on the last live stream. But you can see in the BIOS that it's definitely undervolting. So I went on eBay and I found a replacement. This has been going on for months, actually. So where it started, and I'm going to do a whole dedicated non-live produced video all about this, is that I tried to do what I was calling a 2-year tune-up, where I was making all these changes, and they weren't drastic. I was going to update the BIOS, some drivers, some aesthetic things, add an expansion card. So I had an internal capture card in my computer. And then it got out of control because my buddy offered to give me his 3080 because I needed more VRAM for a game that I was playing. So then I swapped that in there, and I was making all these changes, and then it was just blue screen of death for weeks. And we're just trying to figure it out. And it all dribbled back down to something to do with the main boot drive, in as much that anytime there was a high voltage load, so shader caching for video games, it couldn't access the memory and it would crash. Like something physically wrong with the drive, and it was this drive. It was one of these Western Digital Blacks with the integrated heat sinks. I was like, it tested fine, but something must be wrong with it. So I cloned it to a brand new drive, a Crucial, which I don't think I have here at the moment. And everything went away. Everything was fine. I had a few crashes here and there, but it went, for the most part, was fine. for a little while. And then it came back. And then I went down a rabbit hole and was able to start isolating the issue. And it came down to me finding out, noticing in my BIOS that the 3.3 rail was reading 2.8 volts and had turned red. So that was that's how I figured it out. The key takeaway from that whole misadventure, never do a slew of upgrades all at once. It is the worst idea you could possibly have. So I'm going to put my laptop right there. It's the worst idea. If something isn't working right after you make 10 changes, how do you know which change caused it? I should know this. I'm a man over 40. I've fixed broken things and fixed them before. Why did I think a massive tune-up on a computer was a good idea? So here we are. This is my new X570 Pro Wi-Fi. So this is the version up from the Plus. I found this on eBay for like $140. Sorry, no, I offered him 120 and he took it. So yeah, he claims it works. Everything works just fine. So we'll take a look at it. It came with a user manual, which was, extremely useful. Comes with some SATA plugs, which I don't know if I'm going to make use of. I have a lot of my own SATA plugs. Comes in the anti-static bag, which is a red flag for some people. There was somebody posted on Amazon, not Amazon, someone posted on a Facebook group I'm in that they got a refurbished motherboard from Amazon's like refurbished division, and it didn't have the anti-static bag, and they're saying how bad an idea that was or how awful that was. Okay. All right. Ooh. What else do we got in here? Let's see what else. Various documents, a CD. Has anyone ever used that? And decals. These came with my Plus version when I got that too. So maybe I'll use that. You know what? I do have some disk drives kicking around. And I got a test bench over here. What's on this? Chipset support? Ooh, that's important. That is important. God, I forgot about chipset support. BIOS is one thing. Chipset drivers are a whole new can of worms. Tip makes sense to me. Going one at a time seems reasonable. It's not even that it's reasonable. It's like the most logical path to take. If you're impatient, and sometimes I can be, I admit, it can be an arduous path to take, but it is the right path. I mean, it took me just troubleshooting to get to the point of realizing that these two drives were perfectly fine. This is my boot drive and my storage drive, which are both Samsungs, by the way. And there was something that ChatGPT tried to tell me, that having two Samsungs together doesn't work because the BIOS keeps misidentifying one for the other because their vendor ID numbers are too close together or too similar. BS. Don't listen to ChatGPT. It's a handy guide, but think of it as that crazy friend who has a lot of wild ideas, but sometimes has a good idea. That's how I would treat it. Okay, I do have, ooh. This is a disk drive I pulled out of an old computer. I don't have any of these ports that I could plug into my test bench. It's like old serial port. I was hoping it would be SATA, but it's not. Same here. Ooh, I might have a SATA laptop disk drive down here somewhere. All right, we'll look for that later. I don't want to bore you with it. All right, let's get to the man of the hour. Main event. The X570 Pro. Has this heat spreader, we're going to call it, because it is not a heat sink. That is a heat sink. All right. Now it's got the fins. That is a heat spreader. I stopped using that on the Plus a while ago. And I considered taking a Dremel and actually cutting grooves in it so that it would actually have more surface area to dissipate heat better. I haven't done that yet. I might do that with this one. Who knows? Come on. No? All right. We'll get the other one. And that's why I added that gold heat sink to that one, because I just didn't want to deal with it. Well, that's interesting. I think it's backwards. That's what you did. You put it on backwards. I was wondering, it was tilted funny, like it was, there's a spacer there meant for this side. And whoever installed this put it on backwards. Not so clever, girl. Also, they have this rubber bumper I don't think I need. These rubber bumpers, if you can see that. Right there. They put under M.2 slots. If you have a M.2 drive that's one-sided, there's nothing on this side but a sticker. The bumpers can come in handy. If you have a double-sided one, which I don't know if I even have one lying around, it's pretty obvious what they look like. Nope. Do I not have any? Guess not. Guess all mine are one-sided. Anyway, if you have a double-sided one, you don't want to use the bumper. It'll press against your components on the bottom side and flex funny. So, all right. There we go. Okay. Winter, you still here hanging out with me? Even if it's just one person, it's nice to know that I'm not just talking to myself all night. Okay. So it did come with the quick mount, the AM4 quick mount, which I'm not going to need. It's also kind of... I wanted to test this just sitting here. I don't know if it's a good idea to do that just sitting on this mat. I guess it's perfectly fine. Yeah? What do we think? Dang, booted a game and the graphics crashed on me. I'm sorry, is that happening right now? You're saying that you're trying to watch me and your computer is having issues? If so, that's interesting. We could do a whole troubleshooting thing live. That'd be kind of fun while I'm testing this out. So, first things first, she's a little dirty. And she's dirty in places that are hard to get to. Like this gap under the VRM heatsink. There's just dust in there that it's going to be hard to get to. It did crash. Rebooting game. What game are you playing? Tell me all about it. I downloaded Battlefield 6 and was really excited to play it because I haven't liked Battlefield since 4. And that wasn't 2 versions ago. Okay. So this is tough. How do I get into that VRM slot? How do I get up in there without snagging a microfiber on everything? Honestly, is it the toothbrush and alcohol trick? Is that what I got to do? Vintage story. put a neg offset a little too high. I don't know what that means. Vintage story. Well, that's adorable. It looks a little like Roblox, or Minecraft. It's got like kind of blocky graphics. An uncompromising wilderness survival game. Yeah, that definitely looks like, what do you call it? Minecraft. Yeah, I do have toothbrushes. And I do have 91% isopropyl. It's Minecraft, but more realistic. Oh, so it is Minecraft. It's like a mod. I'm old. I'm sorry. Higher survival aspects. Interesting. Well, I have a 15-year-old nephew who briefs me on the modern era of things that I clearly don't know a lot about. All right, we're just going to get you out of there. Gentle, gentle. Little alcohol. And then we'll stick the cloth in there and just dab, dab. Honestly, I've got contact cleaner. I should just power wash it. There's just like weird components on motherboards, like these tiny little things, and any one of them could end up causing a huge problem. Like, for instance, what I think happened to my motherboard initially when I was doing my big upgrade. This is your main GPU release tab, and when there is a fat CPU cooler and other things in the way, to get in there and press that little tab on top, on top of a 3070 or 3080 is tough. So what do? You take not something metal, not a screwdriver. Don't ever do that. You got to stick that in there and kind of just pop that down. Now, what if you slip off that? There are all these components. Look at all the little things all around where this release tab is. And what is this? An M.2 slot. So what's the likelihood that I damage one of these little tiny, nearly irreplaceable components? If something's, when I was taking out a GPU and it slipped off. What do you mean you don't recognize my fingerprint? Thank you. For them big boys. Don't feel bad for my age. I don't feel bad for my age. I was a Mac guy for, the longest time. And I switched to PC so I could do live streaming of sim racing. And that got me down the rabbit hole of like learning all about PC gaming and everything, stuff I'd been avoiding forever, The most gaming I'd ever done was like a Xbox. No, not fun, nigh impossible, and I don't have the skills to do it. Like, I've seen guys, there's a couple YouTube channels where a guy does laptop motherboard repair, and replacing these tiny little things. Some of these little larger chips, like that chip there, he can replace. These tiny little capacitors and other things. Oof. All right. What are we going to do to test it? I keep a integrated graphics CPU lying around. This is a Ryzen 3 3200G. I keep this around so that I can do testing, if necessary, without a GPU. Can come in handy. Now that also means I need to keep a CPU cooler around, and I need to remove these. So let's go ahead and take the quick hook things off. By the way, magnetic tray for your screws. I know mod mats are nice because you can gives you an outline of like where you have to put that screw back. Honestly, this from like Harbor Freight, clutch. And it lets you you can sequester screw types in a corner, like, oh, these over here, and then these other screws over here, and like you can separate them and organize them just fine. All right, how's it going with your game there, Ghost? Did you get it up and running? I'm going to live vicariously through you playing Minecraft. There we go. Oh, that's annoying. I thought there was an adhesive that held these on. All right, I've bought some of these aftermarket, and I thought they came with an adhesive. Is that supposed to be what's underneath that plastic? No, because this is stock. This is from the factory. This is a protective plastic layer. Okay, so, all right. Guess it isn't. I thought there was an adhesive that held it in place. It's scary that there isn't, that it's just kind of loosely hanging there, and that whatever you clamp on the front holds it in place. I thought something kind of just gently held it there. I'm pretty sure that's what I did with my test bench. Whatever. The GPU sweet spot is firmly at negative 90%, slightly terrifying. Negative 90%? What GPU? What GPU can't play Minecraft very well? Is this a settings issue, do we think? It does sound terrifying. I'm very curious about this. Okay. Check our pins. Very, very careful. Line up our triangle. Triangle goes there. Boom. Safely in place. Now, question is to use thermal paste or thermal pad, since this is just testing and we're not going to really have it on for very long. What do we think? Opinions? It's playing Vintage Story very well. 9060X 96. That should play it well. Right? It was terrifying. Sweet spot. I don't understand what you mean by negative 90%. You mean less than 90? That means less than, right? Is that what you're going for? Sweet spot is less than 90%. So, yeah. Okay. Let's see here. Let's just go with thermal paste. That's fine. We'll use the Noctua. That's a good baseline. A little bit there, a little bit there, a little bit there, a little bit there. Okay, we're not doing too much. It's a little less than I would normally do. But we're just putting on stock AMD cooler, mainly as a precaution. I could probably run these tests without a cooler at all, but that seems problematic. These screws are rusty. Undervolting it by hand with the AMD Adrenaline. Frequency voltage offset. Oh. Okay. All right, give me the rest of your specs. CPU, RAM, all that fun stuff. Motherboard. since we're talking about motherboards tonight. Wait, where's the fan header on this? I could consult the user guide. But I don't have to. Chassis fan, AIO pump, CPU fan. It's up there at the top. Next to CPU option header, which is also for like fans and such. Okay. Okay, we're going to do the crisscross. That noise is the springs, the retaining springs on the cooler. Do not be afraid. That one is not remotely lined up. This is like the thing I hate about CPU coolers in general. Sorry about that. There was rust dust coming off these screws, and I wanted to get it off the motherboard. So it's hard to see, like, in between, like, hey, did you get enough pressure? Did you get the, what do you call it? Thermal paste spread out enough? All that fun stuff. It's my least favorite thing about putting these together is you never know or feel that, like, okay, is it too tight? Is it not tight enough? Did I get the thermal paste spread enough? This cooler's dirty as crap and I shouldn't have used it, but whatever. Okay. So, plug that in. Plug that in. On-off switch. Oh, power. How are we powering this? Well, for a separate build, unrelated to this one, I happened to get a power supply recently. All we need to do is plug in, we don't need VGA. I can go away. CPU and motherboard. This is what's stupid about EVGA's design for their, and I love EVGA, but their design for their CPU plug, it's 2 pieces. But we know it's an 8-pin that goes right there. Like why? Actually, that's hidden by my face. Right there at the top. So why did they make it 2 4-pins? It's so dumb. Actually, it's not. There's an independent 4-pin next to it. I'm sure has some reason behind it. Motherboard is a B650. 64 gigs of Ryzen 770. Oh my, come on. Yeah, I don't know why, like, I'm so curious as to why you're having any issues with something like Minecraft. I thought, and I could be wrong, like maybe I'm absolutely wrong about what Minecraft is. or like the kind of workloads it requires. I thought it was a very graphics non-intensive game. Okay. Power. Oh, RAM. I need RAM. Boot up a computer without RAM. What the heck am I thinking? All right, one stick of DDR4 goes in this slot. All right. Actually, I do want to double check the frickin' manual for that, because that was actually something I touted that it... Okay, yeah, but what did I do with the user manual? Did anyone see where I put it before, when I was done my rant? I've made a bit of a mess over here, I'll admit. It's not back in the box. It's not under there. It's definitely under my bag of RAM. There's some irony. Here we go. Recommended single RAM goes in the very last slot. It's you, not your hardware. I mean, yeah, that's definitely my issue here today. This is me, not my hardware. All right, we've got RAM. We've got a CPU and cooler. We've got power to the motherboard and CPU. We've got a HDMI out that goes into our live stream here, and we will get to see things. Now all we have to do is turn it on. So we need power to the power supply. Where's our D plug? What are you? I know one of these is our D plug. Okay, I got too much crap under here. Thank you. In the off position. There we go. Now I have tested this power supply recently. The voltage is actually really consistent and really good. Far better than the one on my test bench, and it kind of upsets me, because this is a 750 and my test bench is an 850, and I'm considering swapping it. Let's turn that off. Let's find our power on header. Power LED, power switch. You guys are not making this easy to read. Back to the manual. We're looking for 17. System panel header, 221. Here we go. Power LED, power button, and ground. So it's the top. It's pins 3 and 4 on the top row. That's not working well. Crap on a cracker. I thought these used momentary switches. Do I need to... I thought you just needed to short this and get it to turn on. Do I really need to go get a power switch? I do. I need to steal the power switch from my test bench, which is kind of weird. All right, so I just unplugged the power supply, or the power switch button from my test bench, and it's still on. So that seems to indicate I don't need it to be on the whole time. Power switch top and bottom. Very important to check the specs for the high-speed highways. Page 21. Power ground. That's reset ground. Power ground, power supply ground. Should be just tripping 3 and 4. I don't get it. Looking at this one over here, I mean, it doesn't reach. And I can't bring this over here. This is not what I was expecting. How do I solve this conundrum? I can't unmount my power switch. Unfortunately, the power button for my test bench is mounted to the wall here. So is this one, but this one I can remove. Uh-oh. Yep, that just pulled the paint right off with it too. Look at that. All right, power button that I cut the end off of. It's got 4 wires. I see. Power switch. Power LED 1 and 2. Don't care about power LED. I just need green and white. And then I need green and white. Green and white do not identify themselves, so it doesn't matter. So I just need this is weird. So power plus and minus. Good thing it's in the garage. Yeah, well, I painted this whole garage. I wanted to give it, you know, a good look. It was just bare drywall that had never been painted since like 95 or something. It's an old house. That's power plus power. Each one of these is a power plus power. All right, well, let's find out. I know I've got wire cutters around here somewhere. They're all up there. That's funny. I was doing something in the ceiling of my garage. That's probably the most unsafe thing I've done so far. Just turn off the power supply. Okay, cut that. Strip both of these. Okay, that's one. I think we need more. There we go. Isolate our green and white, because that's all we're going to need, green and white. Green, that was white. Now we'll do green. Okay. Literally just going to twist these together in electrical tape and be done with it. Don't want metal shards lying around. There we go. All right, where are we keeping the electrical tape these days, boys? In the box labeled tape. Were we smart enough to do that? Nope. We probably took it out and put it over here on the workbench somewhere because we needed electrical tape. That we did. Literally cannot find the edge of the electrical tape. There she is. One down. If you're just joining, I'm doing really stupid things to test a motherboard that I just bought. That is my last hope of getting my computer working again. And the method of testing has gone off the rails to the point where, hell, I could blow this motherboard now. Please don't let that be the case. All right, so it's third and fourth in. Let's go there. We are on. That didn't work. Does this have something to do with the LED lights being... Wait a minute. I've got a damn... Oh, wow. I have no idea. Sorry, I have my actual computer down here. I can look at the power switch. Is that plus or minus? I can't read you. Just says power switch, and then below it is reset switch. Oh. Okay. All right, let's try that. Let's try 3 and 4 this way. Don't worry about the details. Yep, nope, that didn't work either. All right. Turn it back off. Wait for the You can't see it, but there's a glowing LED there that kind of lets me know there's still power going to the board. So that didn't work. Let's rotate it that way. That didn't work. So I'm going to be, like, all my testing is going to be thwarted because I can't figure out the power switch situation. So I'm just going to have to drop this in my computer and just hope for the best. Yeah, it just keeps tapping. Are you on eco mode? Yes. All right. One more test, flipping it around. Nothing. Only slightly discouraging. I honestly remember this being as simple as shorting those two pins. Let's prove a point that I was trying to make earlier. I have an ASUS TUF Gaming X570 Pro motherboard. I can't find a power switch to turn on my computer. How do I short the pins to power on my computer?
Sure, if you need to. Absolutely. So on a motherboard like the ASUS TUF Gaming X570 Pro, there's a front panel header that typically controls the power button. If you look at the motherboard manual or just on the board itself, you'll see a cluster of pins labeled for things like power switch, reset switch, power LED, and so on. To turn on the computer without a physical power button, you can just momentarily short the two pins labeled for the power switch. Usually, this means you just take something like a small screwdriver and gently tap the two power switch pins together for a second. That simulates the power button press and the PC should turn on. Just make sure you identify the correct pins and you're good to go.
So she says that. Can we believe it? It makes me think something's wrong if it won't, if I can't just short it like you're supposed to be able to short it. It's pins 3 and 4 right here. Like, is something not plugged in over here? Chassis fan's plugged in, CPU plug is all the way in, RAM is in, motherboard power is in. Oh, now I'm not even tripping it at all. All right, well, reached an impasse. I'm done fiddling around. I think all I could really stand to do here is more harm than good. So let's go ahead and get this out of here. I was really hoping to run some tests and verify things, but I think the bottom line is the one that's in my computer right now doesn't work. So what's the point? I'm going to need to take that one out anyway. Okay. Where's that screwdriver? Definitely don't do what I'm doing right here. Okay. One thing I'm now kind of concerned about is taking off this cooler and there you go. So you're done. You can take a back seat. I'm getting more rust dust over here. There she is. All right, let's get the cooler off. Everything about what just happened is awful. Here's our answer about how much I spread that around. Not very much at all. Oh, I'm so... Okay, so what just happened is the screwdriver fell out of my hand towards the audio section of the motherboard, and I'm pretty sure it slammed down on these because these look bent now. Right here. A 100 HF 16 volt. I don't know what that means. But you know what we can do? We can look in the user guide. You can find out what they're for. Did I just damage... They're not even in the user guide listed on the diagram of the motherboard. Cool. We're just going to pretend none of this happened. Take off our old thermal paste. Not that we're going to be using this CPU again, but I'm about to put it away and I don't want to do it dirty. This is awesome to see live. Dude, this is a tragedy to see live. I am just screwing this up left and right. Which way does it go in? Wait, I have another one of these. Okay, yeah, it goes, yeah, that's what I thought. So yeah. Put that baby away. Back in the box of brains. I will clean you later. Never should have touched that in the first place. Where is my blower? I apologize. The screwdriver hit these capacitors or this. We're about to find out later. Do not problem. Subbed. Sorry, it messed up for you, but I appreciate the video. We don't know yet if it's messed up. I have faith that everything's going to be okay. And I have that faith. I've got nothing else going on right now. Like, what else am I going to do tonight? Now, one of the key reasons I got this Pro motherboard is it has right here, this is a, what they call USB-E type header. Your front of case will have a USB-C port that has a wire coming out of it that needs to go to this header. For 2 plus almost 3 years now? 3 years. I have been using a case with a USB-C plug on the front of it that I couldn't use. I would have needed an expansion slot that had a USB-E type header on it. So I'm kind of excited that I get to use the USB-C port on my computer. That'll be cool. All right, so I'm going to put you... line you guys back up. There you go. This is kind of... logistically, I've got a bit of an issue here. I need to be able to take components out of one computer and mount them on this motherboard because I am not building, like, installing the CPU cooler inside the case this time. I've done that historically. It never goes well. Don't need you anymore, that's for sure. Whew. All right. This is where we should have started an hour ago. If you're just tuning in, you're saving yourself a lot of time. Okay. How are we going to do this? I've got ideas. My mod mat thing here is super wide. We're going to make use of how wide it is. Don't need a multimeter. What the hell? Okay. I'm not going to need you because tonight we are going to switch for our actual CPU installation to MX6. Tom's Hardware did a wonderful profile on MX6. It seems like a great option. So I'm going to give it a shot. What was supposed to be really good was this cryo fuse from Cooler Master. A WMK rating of 14, thermal conductivity. Unfortunately, it is so thick, it's nigh impossible to spread around. The MX6, on the other hand, does not provide you with a thermal conductivity rating. So we're just going to roll with that punch too. But Tom's Hardware said it's pretty good. Gosh, 8 grams of it. I might have bought too much. So I think we've officially discovered the potentially, like, the worst thing about the Linus Tech Tip screwdriver is its imbalance. It is like very top heavy. So if you lose grip of it like I did, not that it was at all the screwdriver's fault. That was 100% me being stupid. All right, is this enough room to now put a computer here? Well, let's put the motherboard here. And the computer up here. All right, here's our patient. She's a pain in the butt. What are we going to do? We are going to take photos. What are the 2 black wires going into those 2 headers? They are some kind of extensions. Wonderful. That are related to my CPU cooler, which admittedly is massive. Look at this thing. So big, it covers my RAM. Like, how absurd is that? Okay, so you can stay behind. You can stay behind. This is magnetic. It's kind of cool. Slipping this fan in between these cooling towers is a pain in the butt, especially in this tight space. Come on. There we go. Let me get that wire out of there. For cable management, I wanted to do it real nice like that. Okay, so those are out. So now it's just the tower. All right, this is our USB 3 from the front panel, which incidentally on this motherboard is not over here. I think it's this one. That's kind of annoying. Did you hear that 8 grams is a lot? Huge. Some would say too big, but I say just right. I'm not putting all... I apologize. By the way, I haven't mentioned this. The app I use for this, Camo Studio, has the most obscene and impractical chat interface. I have to like zoom in and squint to see what everyone's writing, so I apologize for not catching a lot of this. Yeah, I'm hoping that I don't have to use all 8 grams in the near future anytime soon. Is there a pinch? to get this off. I hope there isn't a pinch. I hope it's just a straight pull up. I can't. All right, it's shockingly easy to get the motherboard power out of this motherboard, considering, what was this? 5-volt add Gen 2. Do I have that here? Yeah, it's that header right there. Okay. There we go. Just pulls out. Yeah, it's that one. So this is going to have to get rerouted to the bottom now. That's fun. The SATA plug doesn't need to be there. All right. What are you? Chassis fan 2. Chassis fan 3. I'm pretty sure that's my new rear fan back here. This is audio, I think. AAFP. Oh, CPU power. That came out too easy. You know, now I'm kind of worried about clearing my rear fan. Yeah, we'll get it. Okay, so now it's just a bunch of screws. Let's get you out of here. Sorry, I haven't done this before with the iPad. I'm just trying to test out different angles. Oh, that's not a good angle. So I'm streaming from an iPad. This is the iPad camera right here, but then I also have a capture card getting this camera here. And if I'm not mistaken, the audio, yep, is still coming through my microphone here. Okay. All right, this screw is shockingly loose. I shouldn't be worried about that at all, should I? All these screws are shockingly loose. So I built this computer 3 years ago and haven't really touched it since. I was hoping to never have to touch it, other than maybe upgrading a CPU or GPU, you know, for a number of years. You know, the one that you depend on, your daily driver, you don't have to mess with too much. I've built a number of different computers now, and you know, there's no stakes involved. Now there's stakes involved. It's a whole different ball game with this one. Okay, that's not the screw I want to remove. Come on. The magnet on this grabbed the screw. That's funny. Okay, go back there for a second. I really don't want to have to remove the fan and screen for the CPU cooler. It's all wired in. Rewiring it would be kind of a pain. There's one hidden over here in this corner. What's slightly different about these two motherboards also, this is a metal heatsink here, slightly covering all these components. This has a massive plastic shroud over the whole thing, which includes this screw that on the other motherboard is a screw I have to remove. So I'm hoping. Yep. That's the same kind of screw. Does that mean also, yep, that screw there. So is the plastic shroud going to pop off while I'm doing this? No idea. Okay, actually, that one looks the same. Some of them look and feel a little thinner. Okay. All right, we are loose. Yep, fans are in my way. Fans are in my way. Let go. Let go. Anybody still holding on? So this is teaching me very quickly that getting it back in with this method of having a bunch of crap in there is probably not the best idea. Okay. Okay. What have we learned? You wait right there. We've learned that having all these stupid components in here is probably not the best idea. This was the USB, yeah, that wrapped around all the way to there. We'll have to wire that again later. I'll live with it. For the fans, on the other hand, both fans went through this hole, went into this, and they were CPU fan, and this was CPU op. Where did you, okay, you were the two fans up here. All right, so CPU op was the two fans on top. All right, so we're just gonna pull this whole thing out. Come on, guys, thank you, please, thank you. And we'll worry about them later. I wouldn't blame you if you're not here anymore. Okay. So we're good. So now we're back over to over to here. Oh, God. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. I recently did a motherboard swap, 2 laptops, which should have been far more precarious than this. I gotta say, not so much. So, the one thing I wasn't able to do that I realize now I should have done, heat up the thermal paste on the CPU underneath. Otherwise, it's going to be nigh impossible to get off. I could do a very ginger sort of spin method, or I could take a blowtorch to it. What are we thinking, folks? What are we thinking? Thinking blowtorch? Blowtorch wouldn't be bad, right? Little heat. That's what this is designed for, right? Can't be the end of the world. No? No blowtorch? You don't think so? I was just putting a little heat on the fins. Forgot that the whole mounting apparatus for this was way different than my old AIO, which used the easy clips. These things. These are just fantastic for AM4. I just made for a noob putting those together. It's awesome. Okay. Let's get the RAM out of the way. Why not? Now, at the top of the video, I did mention that this thing still was booting from SATA, so I could turn it into like a NAS, right? That'd be doable. All right. Getting the cooler off. One, you gotta make sure the screws have cleared their holes, so it has the freedom to move. It appears that they have not. Clear your hole. Get away from there. At least once in my life, I have pulled the CPU cooler off with the CPU with it. Not interested in doing that this time. No blowtorch. I was thinking of two different things. Anything is doable if you believe. I feel like you're going back and forth on this. I feel like you're not being consistent with your supporter advice. I mean, I'm running the 5900X. That's 12 cores. Could, give me an excuse to upgrade to the 5950, get 16 cores. Okay, come on. Come on. Get over the hole. Problem here is that this screw is not getting over the hole. There we go. Gotta say, damn good coverage. I had pretty good coverage on that last one. I think I have a insecurity about, what do you call it? Thermal paste. Some kind of thermal paste coverage insecurity. All right, we'll just go with, okay, that. Keep wiping you away. I don't even need alcohol, honestly. Comes right off. Nice. Stay clear. By the way, shop towels, not paper towels. There is a consistency difference and a durability difference. Okay. it got hard. A number of years back, I was visiting home, and my sister had an old laptop she wanted me to take a look at. And this is long before I knew as little as I knew now. But I had built a computer at that point, so I took it apart. And that laptop from the 90s had a socket like this in the laptop, and a CPU cooler on it, and the thermal paste had turned to dust at that point. But it's kind of interesting to see that a machine that old was an old Dell that had a socket where you could have swapped out the CPU back there in 94, 95, whenever it was from. Actually, no. How did we laugh to that? No, because we're still talking. 90s was still like a 486 that my parents had. Probably from the early 2000s. Okay, we're good there. My goals are beyond your understanding. Okay, I am intrigued. Okay. Now have our... So what do we have to move? Let's move the bracket first. Because I'm tired of this back plate futzing around on me. If you've ever done one of these aftermarket brackets for AM4, they're so rickety looking because you just put these little red spacers on it and you're like, how is this supporting anything securely and accurately? Honestly, once it's all screwed together, it surprisingly works well. See that? Just wobbly and like, what? Just trust your hardware. Hold still, guys. Nice and secure. One thing I was wondering if the PC manufacturers are ever going to come out with in their DIY guides and user manuals was torque ratings. Like, this is all about precision, right? Like these very delicate components. Well, when you put on a oil, when you're changing the oil in your car and you replace the oil drain plug, it gives you a torque rating for how tight to make it. Well, how cool would it be to have a tiny little torque wrench, a torque screwdriver or something, to when you're assembling your computer, make sure all these screws are the correct tightness. That laptop must have been designed with upgrades in mind. I mean, maybe. I don't know. I think back then it didn't occur to them that laptops should have soldered CPUs. I mean, we do soldered CPUs now on laptops, I imagine, for a number of reasons, not the least of which how slim you want that computer to be. Fitting in the cooling element and everything else with a big socket like this, increases your thickness by a lot. That's why a lot of laptop manufacturers now are soldering in the RAM, which is criminal, in my opinion, and making it impossible to upgrade your RAM. Mac's been doing it for years, but no one's surprised. It's Mac. Mac was never made to be, well, not never. The G3s, I think it was, were specifically designed for customizing. A big flip down door. You can open it real easy like. Okay, so this is our DDR4 32 16x2. Okay, we'll worry about you later. Will we? No. Will we? Yeah, no. We'll do it now. That clicks in real nice. My original board, it would not slide in or click in nicely like you see in the movies. Okay, kids, I didn't see that. Okay. So, up. Inspect our 5900X. All pins look to be in order. Are there missing pins? Yeah, there's missing pins. There's a blank section in the middle there. See those 4 blank spots outside the middle? My eye was clocking that gap. Gonna have to bribe me to keep me from telling Mom. Are you just like texting your siblings or you think you're texting your siblings, but you're actually telling me stuff? That snap when I opened it this last time was disconcerting. Everything okay in there, guys? Sorry, these two mechanisms are a little different, and it's kind of creeping me out, and I just want to make sure it's not going to bend a pin as I drop it in. In she goes. First time I ever did that on this one, there's like a Velcro noise as you close it, and it's frightening. Thought I'd screwed it up on day one. Okay, so we're good there. That's the original battery. Do I want to keep the original battery or put in a fresh one? We're going to keep the original for now. Do I have a manufacture date? Where's the box? Something like hard drives when you buy them, they'll have like a manufacture date on it. Doesn't seem to be. Oh, don't tell anyone. Okay, gotcha. Well, what's funny is my mother does watch this channel. Probably not my live streams, and definitely not my what's going on 2 hours of a live stream. So, yeah. All right. Here we go. MX6, don't fail me now. We're going to do the pea-sized one in the middle. And then we'll do the 4 little dots around the outside. Oh, so, yeah, this is kind of... It's not... it's got a good consistency. It's thick, but it's not crumbly. like the cryo fuse was crumbly. And that made it really hard to work with. Get back a little further in. Thank you. There you go. All right. Does that look like enough? What are we thinking? Huh? I think that's a good thin layer. So. A little bit right there. See, now I'm just getting paranoid. Just add a little bit more in the middle. There we go. Yeah, that's way more than enough. We're going to have a little excess. All right. On my first one, I was so paranoid about it, I overcranked it. And when I eventually took off my cooler, you could see the square shape of my CPU embedded in the copper. That's how stupid tight I put it. All right, we are lined up. We're going to go back and forth. We are not going to overcrank on one side and squish it all out one side. We're going to go back and forth, gently putting this on. And then trying to see in between. This is the hard part. Okay. I can still see some light on the right side. Yeah, definitely not tight enough. Appreciate you hanging out with me this whole time. This is scary. I feel like the whole tower is leaning that way. I know from your angle it's really hard to tell anything or any kind of symmetry. Ah, there you are. You're squeezing out. I see you. Okay, good. Got some squeeze. And then, oh, this is what I hate. I always put in the RAM and then realize the RAM is blocking my view if I want to get a shot of the CPU cooler and get a good look at it. So, okay. There it is. Yeah, I can see it seeping out all sides. So that should be good coverage. Getting the fans back in is going to be fun. All right, so here's our loser. You can say goodbye to this baby. And I don't think, so this is that shroud I was telling you about. So the VRM cooler, wow, so much bigger on this one. That's all VRM heatsink. And that is there as well. So all this black, heatsink. This little bit of black is the heatsink, and then this is just the plastic shroud over all the components here. So definitely a difference in VRM cooling design. There's also a thermal pad. It's hard to see. There's thermal pads under the VRM, where the VRM heatsink touches the VRMs. I've never heard of anybody talking about replacing those. I don't know if that's a thing. Oh, yeah. And then the back plate came off. Because it wasn't stuck on with any adhesive. All right, question. Do I put in a... Uh-oh. Uh-oh. think I did something wrong. I did. Damn it. Damn it. The cooler. Notice how the pipes are longer. This is now... Oh, I'm so upset. I've got to take the cooler off. Oh! I mean, I could spin it around. But I feel like that would just make a mess. Let's get to work. It would basically be sitting right on top of my GPU and then also blocking my ability to put in a boot drive. I'm just going to like wind up damaging this stuff from like silly mistakes like this. Come on. Come on. This is why you buy 8 grams of thermal paste. So you have stuff left over for mistakes like this. Wow, she's stuck on nice and good. You're... Okay. All right, we're good. We're off. All right. I feel vindicated. That was legit the perfect amount of thermal paste. So. And am I going to reapply completely? Absolutely. I am not going to rely on some pre-spread leftovers. Use a little plastic scraper to get the excess. It's not hanging around the edges, around the hinges. Get some. Just realized it's like over here looking at the in my ear while I'm leaning over here. All right, well, worst case scenario, I have to build a whole new computer because I just keep futzing with all these components so much that they decide to stop working. RIP. Is that RIP? Well, how's your game going? Tell me about your game. What's going on your end? You're seeing everything that's happening over here. Tell me about this survival game. I don't know anything about... I mean, I've played survival games, not like... And I watch a lot of like Viva La Dirt League. And they do kind of joking skits about the mechanics or the culture of survival games. And they seem, I mean, they're clearly very nitty gritty. I mean, they get down into the weeds of having to fashion this and fashion that. And there was some sort of like zombie machines or some survival machine. It was like this big sort of steampunk building on wheels that goes in one direction nonstop, and then you have to hop off and go get supplies and come back on and keep building things. All right, so we need our offset to be going upward so that we still have clearance to get to this area, because previously when it was like this, it was overlapping. Like, it's so obvious from your angle. Where I was sitting, I didn't realize I was doing it. Exploring for tin or so. What are the dangers? What are the things that you encounter that are you have to watch out for? Are there things like zombies, or worse, other players, humans? What kind of things do you run into that you have to watch out for? Poisonous, dangerous wildlife, spiders, insects, things like that. Round 2 with the MX6. Okay. P size in the middle. Little dots on the outside. Come on, get off. I don't need you. Okay, here I go again, being all paranoid, thinking that's not enough. There we go. It's a little bit more. The occasional wild General Buckles. Who was that? Reno. What's up, man? Temporal monsters. Interesting. So is there any PvP at all? Like, do you run into anybody ever? Oh, that didn't hurt. Rolling chair. All right, here we go again. Round 2. God, that doesn't feel like enough. Honestly, it just doesn't look like enough. I feel like I went light this time. A little bit more in the middle. Yep, now it feels like too much. You never get it right. Poisonous plants and food. Ooh, poisonous foods. Like, I feel like that's something that you'd have to learn about over time. Like, you wouldn't get like, does someone give you a handbook that says, like, watch out for these plants and these? Yeah, that was way too much. We're gonna have some excess spillage. Okay, make sure they're both over their screws. They are. Back and forth. Back and forth. Oh, there's a handbook to reference. Good. Too much is worse than not enough. I don't know if you were here earlier, but I found that out by overcranking it to the point where it left a AM4 CPU shaped crease or scratch in the copper plate of my AIO. Okay. Okay. Okay, definitely doesn't look like too much. Not seeing a lot of excess. Yeah, just woke up. Welcome to the party, man. You missed the part where I dropped a screwdriver on the motherboard. Okay. Okay. All right. We're calling it. That looks good. Moment. Moment. Next phase of truth. Because this is going to be longer than a moment. That's for frickin' sure. For instance, I've got to go find the Type E. Remember I said that this has the Type E port on it. I got to go find that. Because I haven't used that wire in 2 years. So GPU support bracket. Why are you even... That was you? No. Oh, no, you went into the AIO or the RGB hub. That's what you were doing. All right, so you don't need to be in the way. Ugh. Backplate. Wrong backplate. Right backplate. Oh, this backplate's got more like writing on it and stuff. It says like TUF Gaming. Has a cool logo. I know for a fact the first time I built this thing, I didn't put the backplate on after like getting the motherboard in place and everything. I recorded that whole thing. I did it all like on an iPhone in my living room before I was even planning on like actually making YouTube videos, you know, recreationally on a routine basis. I'm in a weird position here. I've got nowhere to put this motherboard. We'll run out of real estate. Come on back here. I thought we were going to be ready. For as polished as these backplates look when you're using them, they are janky little things. Very frail. All of you are in. Who's not in? Found you. Everybody in? Don't make me take out this rear fan. I really don't want to. Why don't you run on your test bench before bolting everything in? Trust me, you missed the beginning. Test bench, I'd have to take that whole thing apart. The test bench is designed to test a lot of things, not a motherboard. Because undoing all of that would be, I don't know. I didn't think about that. Maybe because it wasn't camera advantageous for live streaming. Maybe a lot of what I've been doing is because I'm streaming this, and I was thinking like, oh, this would be good to see. The thing is, I'm not even going to be upset about it. Like, if I screw up, if I damage this thing and screwed up because I was trying to live stream the whole thing, and that was what kind of led me to this position. So be it. Like, I'll sell something to be able to afford a new motherboard. It would have been worth it, I guess. And this is all part of the larger themed video that I plan on working on that is related to how this whole thing got screwed up to begin with. A stupid upgrade tune-up debacle from 6 months ago. So, interesting thing about back plates that I've noticed is they have those little springboards on the back. Here. See that? And they push the motherboard back so it doesn't line up with the screws it's supposed to line up with. Super annoying. All right. Everybody good? No one trapped behind the motherboard? Did I expect a real answer? Where does that button go? Here's a question I have. Why do these things still come with... Yeah, this one has it too. I mean, this hasn't been used since the 90s. The keyboard, mouse... I forget what... Serial plug? I don't know what that is. Purple and blue, green plug. We can auction Deacon off to the highest bidder. Who is this? Reno. Corey, is that you? I haven't seen you in a while. PS2. PS2, that's what it's called, yeah. Which always makes me think PlayStation. And I'm just like, why would you call it that? Because you invented it before PlayStation was around. Okay, so these aren't lining up. That worries me. I don't want anything to be... Everything seems to be lining up on the back here. Nothing's getting caught on anything. Oh, what happened? Something popped, something jumped. Yep, something's not lined up properly back here. It's pushing really hard on the back plate. What is it, guys? Who's pushing? Who's pushing against the back plate? It's like the back plate itself? That's weird. There we go. All right. Everybody good? All right. That's weird, but whatever. Razor. You're not... Oh, is it that early over there? Damn. I thought you were supposed to be in bed, brother. Thanks for tuning in now and not having to watch an hour and 55 minutes of nonsense before you find out whether or not this worked. Were you lucky enough to be around for the part where I put the cooler on wrong? Or when I took out my motherboard and found out that all the screws were loose? What? It's always that audio section. So this back corner, I think most motherboards, is audio. All right, that's not going in straight. The hell? Smaller screwdriver, get the job done. Something's wrong with this standoff. There we go. All right, risking cross-threading that. Tighten these. Okay, so before we even put in any more screws, we're going to go ahead and get ready to fire this puppy up. Motherboard. Oh, this is dumb. Stupid CPU cooler is now in the way of everything. Should have stuck with an AIO. Wait a minute, are you even facing the right way? Where's your clip? Okay, your clip's on that side. Oh, I need tiny hands. Something with tiny hands. Oh. Aha! Boom. All right, what do we got? We got... Ooh, you know what we don't have? A GPU. We can't see anything that we do. So, let's plug in power. Are these headers bent? Why are you not lining up? All right, power switch is plugged in. Motherboard power, CPU power. That was from 9 to can't sleep. Not woke up 20 minutes ago. Nonsense. You're saying it like it wasn't a learning experience for me. Fair enough. I'm glad someone's going to learn something from this. Another trick. When you don't have an integrated graphics CPU to test with, fanless AMD GPU powered by the motherboard. It doesn't require external power. You can just pop right in. And I think it'll fit in here. Can you get in there? Thank you. That's a weird sound. Something sounds like gristling grinding. Didn't like that sound at all. Okay, HDMI. And just for fun, let's put in a screw. Oops, do we have one of those screws lying around? There we go. Okay. I don't even know what version of BIOS this thing has. It'll be interesting to find out about. All right, so we have no boot drive. We have just a CPU. We're in the off position. Where's our D plug? It's not our D plug. There's our D plug. Step 1. Got the RGB there. Fingers crossed, everybody. Fingers crossed. It's not turning on. Third attempt, turned on. No idea why. It's rolling through all the post lights just fine. Boom! New CPU installed. Please enter setup and configure your system. No keyboard. Keyboard. Oh! What version of BIOS do we have? First off, how does it know the date? That's pretty impressive. It hasn't been hooked up to the internet. BIOS version 5043. He put in, whoever this was, updated it with the most recent BIOS, 5043, which came out in September 24th. So last month. It's still a beta version. All right, let's take a look at CPU temperatures. CPU's at, oh, shoot. I don't have a fan on the CPU. And we're going to be rising quick. I've got a solution. This should work. You can't see what I just did, but I just put a fan in there. 53, we're going down. Okay. Let's plug in this chassis fan. We'll help along with that. Okay. All right, we got our temps coming down. Good. Let's take a look at everything else. There's no chassis fans running because I didn't think to hook up chassis fans because I'm an idiot. Okay. I don't even know where the other fans went into. Are those it down there? I don't know. All right. 47. Okay. All right. We've got cooling happening. Cool. Real quick, let's go to F7, which is our advanced. What we want to see is voltage. 3.3 volts are running at 3.2. That's within tolerances. My 12 volt is running at 11.9. 5-volt running at 4.9. Those are within the 10% tolerances that you're supposed to have. I'd have to go back and look at what it ran on my other motherboard. I have that on the other live stream. But looks like it's holding steady there. So, all right, that's good. I'm going to show you what I did. This is not good. So I've got a manually powered fan here, and then I've got this exhaust fan here kind of sucking away, and this is blowing through here. Yeah, so it's keeping the temps down. All right. Okay, so that's not bad. Interesting. All right, so let's kill the power. I want to flash the BIOS back to a previous version that is what I think more stable. They made the last non-beta is from April of this year. So that's what I'm going to go with. And I've already preloaded it onto a thumb drive here somewhere. And what's neat about this motherboard is it has the flash BIOS button, which I've never had an opportunity to use before. I've never had that before. All right, so let's turn off this fan. Get our fan out of there. So before we do any of that, let's finish installing our motherboard. Get all the other crap in there. It needs to go in. Ooh, I do want pinions though. I just dropped a screw. That's fun. I'll worry about that later. I need pinions. I need your take on something. My main boot drive does not have a heatsink on it, and I want to put one on it. Main boot drive, current storage drive, has a heatsink on it. I have this one, which is an active cooler. It has a heatsink, and I don't know if I can get the light to show that. There's a fan built into. See that? There's a fan right there. And it blows air over this heatsink. Like the whole drive sits inside this enclosure. Then there's just your standard, this is just a standard one that is blue, or another one of these gold ones. Matching gold one for that one there. So I just happen to have these lying around. It's going to need a heatsink at some point. So I'd get everybody's take on that. Okay. It's good news that we got it up and running. Very good news. All right, so we know that those are the top two fans. They go there. What I learned having my hard drive SATA going there is that I don't like it. because it's hidden behind the GPU that eventually goes here. That's no good. Let's get this crappy test GPU out of here. Oh, it didn't actually lock into place? That's crazy. It works. No opinions? Are there really 4 people watching right now? Oh, wait, hold on. There's other... Your boot drive won't get super hot. I'd go with a standard heatsink on that. I'm not getting those comments over here. That's annoying. Why am I not getting those comments on this screen over here? Strongly encourage you to properly set up CPU fans before running longer times. No. I didn't get any of these comments for the longest time. What is going on? I'm so... What is that? 12? This is 112? Okay. What's going on here? Remove selected tab. Okay. Add panel. Cancel. Chat. There we go. Now I'm seeing all these comments that I didn't see earlier. It posts. Let's go. 2.8, 3. Does it get hot with how fast it reads and writes? Yes. Your boot drive will get super hot. I'd go with standard heatsink on that. Okay, so then aesthetically, do you think blue or gold? Let me know. Okay. What were you? Chassis fan 2. Yep. You were the front fans. You were this audio pin thing over here. Okay. You're not... Okay. USB 3 from the front needs to go down below. RGB controller over here. There you go. I forget, how did I do it with this? I think this wire, I tried to put it behind the motherboard last time, because there's nowhere else for it to go. Like, it goes, it's just like here, you know? And I could have routed it up to the top. Wait a minute. Chassis fan 1. Oh! Okay, I could just stash a bunch of this wire up inside here. I'll get up there. Stash a bunch of that in there, and then just go straight to chassis fan 1 right here. Because that's for an AIO pump or chassis fan. Oh no, sorry, that's chassis fan 1, that's AIO pump. Alright, so there's 2 headers there. Go with gold, looks more solid anyway from what I could see. It is a little thicker, yeah. Yeah, I agree with both of you. Thank you so much. And thanks for sticking around for the whole fiasco where like I wasn't getting any comments. That's crazy. All right, where are we? What are we doing? Just do more screws. Okay. Do we have any objections or comments about my strategy with going with an older BIOS because it's not listed as in beta? I mean, I thought, seems like sound logic. Same thing goes with drivers. If you, especially the NVIDIA drivers, now invariably some new driver comes out with NVIDIA to fix some issue going on. But I have noticed in general there are NVIDIA drivers that are listed as being like certified by some sort of third party. Presumably more stable. Like I was even, when I was having all my blue screen issues, I was using the Creator version of NVIDIA's BIOS, not the Game Ready. Chiefly because I was doing a lot of video editing. And also because it's supposed to be more stable. I was like, oh, that makes sense. Then I should try that. Didn't do any good because my issue was not graphics related. I'd go with most recent stable BIOS. Same with the driver. Well, that's the question. The one that's listed on ASUS's website as beta version, because it's recently put out, is that more stable? Or is that considered stable? Or should I go with the most recent one that isn't listed as in beta? I mean, what the hell? It's already got the most recent BIOS on there. Might as well stick with it. But if you read it, the main changes for the most recent BIOS update for 5000 G series, which is the integrated graphics, 4000 G series and 3000 G series, 2000 G series, critical FTPM firmware upgrade, enhancing security and optimizing game compatibility, back up your BitLocker, yada, 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 prevent, before running, yes, please rename the BIOS file, yes. Okay. So it's all like some sort of update for G series CPUs, which, you know, I'm not using, and no one, as far as I understand, serious gamers don't use G series CPUs because they want to use dedicated graphics. All right, so we're as good as we're going to get, I think, with the headers there. We have to reroute USB 3 SATA to the bottom. Our fans are all currently in. And this is going to be the least fun for anybody because can't see anything from that angle. So I apologize. I'm just going to go here. What about this? Does this work? No, because you're trying to follow me. Nope, that's not going to work either. What if we go down? Ha ha! Stop following me. There we go. Boom, boom. Oh, wait, it is still trying to follow me. Framing. Aha, look at that. Okay. Anyway, we got to pull. I do not want to show you the back of this thing. This is shame back here. For a guy who likes to be organized, oof, this is ugly. All right. So this is USB 3 and SATA. Where can USB 3 come from? It's got to come through here. And it's got to go. It's going to fight me on that. Yep. Is it actually easier if I navigate around these fan wires, spin around sooner? Yeah, this is why Twitch streamers and hot tubs get more views, because it's way more exciting than what I'm doing, that's for sure. Oh, Razor, I think you missed the part earlier where I took a blowtorch to it, legitimately trying to heat up the CPU to get the... that's going to add so much pressure to that header. Gotta like pre-bend this thing to take the pressure off. And I have to have so much excess wire hanging out. Like this wire here has to be... Oh, that's so annoying. That's what it has to look like. That's so ugly. Oh, whatever. All right. Next, SATA. Come on through. We're going to put you in right next to this power button. Can we put you up there? Where do you face? Nope, you need to face that way. Boom. That's from my hard drive. I think that can go... Sure that snapping noise I just heard wasn't anything important. All right, where is the USB-E that was missing so long ago? What is this SATA for? Oh, yeah, those go there. Okay. Many moons ago, there was a USB-E header. It's hidden up here in the top. It's way over here. There she is, see it? All right, so now we gotta find a good spot for you to come through. Which I think should be, yep. What do you think? Through there? We can come out with the power. Come out through here. And then we gotta spin around. How do you... You're not universal. Are you? Because USB-C can go both ways, but I don't think USB-E can. No. So it's wider on one side than it is on the other. And that is nigh impossible to tell which is which here. Looks like shorter on the outside. Yeah. Okay, so you go in like that. So out. Do I even have enough slack to spin you around? spin around, and there we go. USB-C on the front panel. That's all it took. I'm watching this out of pure entertainment. I hope so. Oh, I mean, as in, like, you're not learning anything. There's no information to be learned here other than what not to do, which I'm pretty sure is like the motto of my channel is learn from my mistakes. The heavy temporal storm has arrived. Wish me luck. Oh, good luck with that. Yeah. All right. I'm not going to plug in the spinning hard drive yet. Ah, fuck it, why not? No reason not to, I don't think. Okay. SATA. Why aren't you clipping in? That's concerning. SATA plug isn't clipping the way you would expect it to. All right, we're just going to hope that works. Leftover RGB. Okay, so fans. Where'd everybody go? Here you are. I've got to remember how best to do this. All right. The weird thing about these fans, okay, so they're daisy chained like that, see? 2 to 1. One goes in the middle, one goes on the outside. They both go like this. Airflow in the right direction. Yep, airflow that way and that way. One goes in between, but one sits higher because the RAM is in the way, which I can't imagine was something that was overlooked during the design process. It's like, oh yeah, check that out. We're going to be bumping into the RAM. Like they had to have known that was going to happen. Trying not to bend any of these fins. Okay. There we go. So easy to put on. Okay. And this one just rests on top, just above the RAM. That honestly feels higher on this motherboard than it did on the other one. It's definitely not. Are my sticks in all the way? Definitely feel loose. Those are flush, and they shouldn't be. Oh well. All right. So then, where did those wires go last time? Okay, so these white wires leave, and the black comes in, becomes CPU fan here. You had to know this is going to be hard to reach. You designed this, guys. I'm playing World of Warships and adding to the challenge by watching you at the same time. You know what? Is that the one that Jay's 2 Cents is always playing or advertising at the very least? I've been wondering about that. It's like free to play, being ex-Navy, like 100%. Oh, come on, guys. There you are. Oh, get in there. No. How big's the download file on World of Warships? Oh, come on. Why aren't you... Got too many wires in the way. Can't see anything. All right, maybe we'll lay you down. You're there, you're there. Okay. Oh, that's my finger. Okay, just line up with the one right next to you and go right in. Yeah, there you go. Boom. CPU fans, in. Okay, so the last weirdo that needed to go in was the USB Direct. So this light up panel for the CPU temp and GPU temp readout goes on the front. But then the wire has to get hidden behind these clips that hold the fan in. He advertises it a lot, don't know if he actually plays it. That's a fair point. He does get paid to talk about it, and he gets paid to show himself playing it. So, good point. We don't know if he actually does play it a lot. Okay. All right, so we've unhooked the fan. We need to get the wire behind the clip. This is the only bit of real cable management I'm going to do here today. There we go. Feed through the hole. Okay, and we'll worry about you later. All right. There is a screw for the M.2. There we go. Here's an interesting thing. The way these work lately, if you pop in a new CPU and a new drive, it generally tells you you can't use your PIN to unlock it and you got to connect to the internet. And I don't necessarily have a way to connect to the internet. Not out here. I don't have like a hard line in my garage or anything. And the Wi-Fi antennas I'd have to go get from my office. Okay, you know what? I'm not even going to use the good Samsung one. I'm going to use the Test OS. How do you not fit in there? How is that? There's no way this fits in my old one, but not in my new one. God, that barely fits. Wow, the clearance is insane. The GPU release thing is right up against this heatsink of the M.2. That is nuts. Okay, you're too small. Go back to our test GPU, the XFX Radeon R2. Okay, that didn't scare me at all. Whew, who did that? There she is. All right. GPU clip finally clipped. A ton of giveaways that include a free premium ships and stuff. Game has 2 different PvE modes and a PvP mode. It's free to play on a standard account. It's pretty hard to make enough credits to keep going. Premium time isn't too expensive though, and they do a ton of giveaways included. All right. I've known you for a while, dude. I feel like it's the first time I've heard of this coming from you, like whether or not that you were playing this game. Although I have been kind of, I did go dark the last few months, largely because of this whole stupid PC issue. Okay, so fans are plugged in. We have a boot drive. We have a storage drive. Fans, RGB. Okay. All right, we've got our RGB indicator that our motherboard has power. This will not light up because it's not plugged in right now. That is fine. Plus the software that makes it work isn't even installed, so there's no way that it would work anyway. What are you? Where are you coming from? Between the RAM? Okay, I'll live with that. All right, we have turning on the first try. That's a good first step. Our lights are working. Let's get our HDMI. Let's switch to here. All right, we're getting close. Where's the keyboard? Maybe I should have thought ahead to all this. All right, what do we got here? Great temps on the CPU now, 37. Fantastic. Oop, oop. Stay down, stay low, stay down. Where are you going? Stay below 40 or you're not worth your salt. Identified boot manager. We got a boot drive identified right there. That's a good start. That's weird that Bismuth wasn't playing it since it launched 10 or so years ago. Wow, I do not know you. Bismuth just sounds like a mineral that would be worth a lot. Tin doesn't. But good for you. All right. Voltages. With a boot drive installed, I'm now down to 3.1 instead of 3.2. Oh, there we go, 3.2. At 11.8 instead of 11.9, and 4.8 instead of 4.9. Interesting. Now remember, I did test my power supply, and all the voltages were reading exactly as they should. So it didn't seem to be an issue of power coming off the power supply. So, yeah. All right, let's go ahead and select the boot drive. Wait. Okay. So that was the other thing I was curious about. Right above me here, we've got the NVMe boot drive, but then we also have the SATA. Okay, so let's go boot manager. Yep, just that one. Let's head to Windows and find out. What do we think that is? ATDCM64A dat.sys. Googling. ATDCM64A.sys. It's this old-ass GPU. It's the first verse of In the Navy by the Village People, right? My password? That's funny. You know, I was actually always really fond of Billy Joel's Piano Man because of the whole Davy in the Navy line. It's always fun to sing. And then you join the Navy, and there's that song, and Great Balls of Fire from Top Gun, and all. There's a lot of good ones. So this is related to the crappy GPU that I put in here to do this test. I do not want to learn more. So cancel. We don't care about that right now. I don't have anything like hardware info on here. And I'm really annoyed that Task Manager, I don't think, gives you temps. Which is kind of annoying. But what if in my hard drive, local disk, HDD, code backups, where's Python stuff? Armageddon? Did Armageddon get... desktop file? Armageddon was what I named the last time that I had to do a massive backup. This one was called Deacon Swap, because Deacon was the one that was just like, stop trying to clone drives and just... here she is. Copy. Paste. All right. Still hovering at 40. I think that's not good. I'm positive I got my fans facing the right way. Yeah. Both of them. You're making me think I didn't crank down my CPU cooler enough. Idling, it used to be in the 30s. And it's pretty cool out here in my garage. Maybe if I close the lid and get a little more tighter, less open air. Okay. Well. Okay, someone just hopped in here. Mr. Torres. Funny story about this guy. To travel without orders. I was in the Navy with this guy. He was a mentor of mine. Chiefly, and I'm sure he taught me lots of things, but the memory that sticks out most in my head is preparing me to gamble for the first time in Australia. We were pulling into port in Darwin, Australia, and he was so excited to teach me about gambling at Australian casinos because you could gamble at, I think it was either 18 or 20 or whatever age I was at the time. I think it was 18 because you could drink. You could. I mean, it was a joy for a young sailor to go to Australia because you were getting to jump straight to 21 years old essentially, and telling us the old stories about what it used to be like pulling into Australia in terms of how the public treated you and then how the public opinion of the U.S. Navy changes over time. So all in all, it was always a great time to go to Australia. But Mr. Torres there made sure to give me a few good lessons before we got off the ship for the first time. So thanks for tuning in, man. What we're working on is this computer I've been building or rebuilding and repairing. I had to swap out the motherboard because this one went bad. So we've been pulling this one out, putting the new one in, testing it, dropping things on it because I'm an idiot. But everything seems to be working. The capacitors down here that I dropped the screwdriver on don't seem to be having a problem. Hard drive's working, and as we can see here in the BIOS, we were somewhat concerned about voltage levels over here. That was the problem with the old board. And everything seems to be perfectly stable, which is nice. So at 3 hours, I'm going to call it. It's been a productive evening. Took way longer than I wanted it to. I am curious about the time. That is freaking weird. Maybe the time is a BIOS thing. Is that something I can change here? English system. It's connected to the internet. It should know what the time is. What's this little button right there? Oh, here we go. I mean, yeah, I could adjust the time manually. Let's do that. It is 11:12, or as we would call it in the Navy, 23:13. Here, 23:13. Call it 25 seconds. Save. All right. Save changes and exit. Here we go. overall, it was successful. So Razer, I will probably in the next 48 hours after I have to completely rebuild my system. Like I have no software. Like these are all fresh installs. That was a test drive, but my real boot drive over here, I'll have to put that CPU or the heat sink on it to cool it down. Keep it cool. But then I got to rebuild the whole ecosystem, all my settings, my video editing packages and everything. I got to put all that back together. So there we go. I feel like the power supply makes weird noises now. Either way, thank you so much for hanging out. Any of you who did, you don't look so good. Maybe you should take a sick day. Yeah, you're probably right. But yeah, seriously, thanks for hanging out, guys. Winter, good luck with your survival game. Harry, hit me up anytime I want to, or, let me know if there's anything I can help with on the YouTube front. Thank you for your advice previously. About you were giving me some tips on promoting certain videos and stuff. Once I get everything here back on track, I can actually start doing things again. I will focus on that. My upcoming projects are an all Intel build, and I mean all Intel. I've never I'm Team Red, so I've never messed with Intel before, but somebody gave me a free Intel motherboard, so I went to town to include like an Intel aftermarket CPU cooler. Intel did, for a short time, release things like an Intel branded NVMe drive. The Intel Arc B550 GPU. And then I'm going to custom paint the case to be blue with blue tint for the glass. Yeah, it's going to be dope. I even got, I think it's all blue. Is it white and blue or all blue? The power extensions are white and blue. I think they are. Let's take a look. I haven't actually opened these yet. Oh, I bought that one. Oh, they're entirely blue. You can see they're blue extensions. Ooh, and the combs are blue though. I would have gone for white or black. I didn't realize the combs were blue. Oh, okay, and they're like a clear blue too, versus the other ones which are solid blue. Oh well. I accidentally ordered 2 packs of this, so I'm going to do a giveaway with the other pack. I'll even reach out to the brand and let them know, hey, I'm going to be giving some of your products away of my own accord. Do you want to sponsor that? So, have a good night. Konnichiwa? I think that's hello, though. Don't think that's goodbye. But can't wait to watch your video about Tokyo whenever that comes out, Harry. The